Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Entrepreneur Show. I have a lovely host, a guest, Nakisha Geddes, and we're going to be talking about setting boundaries or even how we go about them. Um, I just want to tell you this is a live broadcast. It is brought to you by Business Takeout. And Business Takeout is a social platform that recognizes Black wealth through business education. I am your host, Maxine Choy, and I am the founder of Live Well with Maxine. And to reach me on all platforms, you can follow me at Live Well with Maxine or visit my website at livewellwithmaxine.com. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to my guest, Nakisha Geddes. Nakisha is the founder or co founder, I should say, of Beyond Services and also the owner of Geddes Concept. So,
Yeah.
if I got that wrong, I just want you to introduce everyone to uh, introduce yourself to the audience, and we're going to get started to talk
Hel-
about that.
Hello, hi, welcome. Thank you, Maxine, and everyone behind the scene for inviting me and for having me here. It is truly a pleasure. And yes, again, my name is Nakisha Geddes. I am the co-founder of an organization called Get It Beyond Services Choice Matters Inc. We provide respite support service for children, adults, and youth with disabilities. And I'm also the founder of Geddes Concept, where we provide help aspiring entrepreneurs to start and launch their business. So we do a lot of business launch, business startup, and business planning and so forth.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I like your how you have these two kind of like
Mhm.
helping somebody in both needs, right?
Yes, yes.
Exactly. And so I want to talk about something that I think you and I had discussions about, and you had personally experienced this, and we're talking about setting boundaries and what it meant for us, and even at a time when you had to do that just for your own mental
Mhm.
well-being. And you know, boundaries has become so popular now where everybody's like, not everybody, but a lot of people struggle with that. They
Yeah.
struggle with saying no, or struggle with validating their feelings and feeling or not feeling that they're validated. And there's so many different types of boundaries. There's a physical, there's a relationship, there is sexual, there is energy. What else did I have down? Relationship, emotional boundaries. And yet some people are having difficulty with setting them. And I want to just talk about a time in your life where you felt that boundaries was something that you had to like pull up your big girl pants
Yes.
and say, I don't want this anymore. This is not what I want for myself. So what was there a time in your life that you felt that you didn't know how to set boundaries?
Yes, I would say by me learning how to set boundaries is the reason why I'm talking to you right now. There was a time, I think in 2016, when I was going through, I'll call it midlife crisis, but my doctor diagnosed it as depression, right? And I was going through that, and I didn't understand why I was going through what I was going through. My life looked like a cookie cutter kind of life. There was nothing for me to like pinpoint why I was unhappy or why I was experiencing what I was experiencing, because I was living a life that most people dreamed of. I had a career, I have a lovely family, I have everything that most people would want. So I couldn't understand what was going on, and I remember in 2016 I went on a journey to just try to find myself, because I think I was lost. I didn't know who I was, or I was just going through the motion. And so while I was going on that journey was when I start connecting with other people and start learning more about myself and what I wanted to do. And then I recognized that I wasn't living my life on my terms. I was living for everyone else. I was living the life that everyone, I remember coming to Canada at the age of At 13, one of the things that they always say, go to Canada and become something, go to Canada, but nobody ever tell what that becomes something. You know,
Exactly.
you're coming to Canada for a reason, to do good, to
Exactly.
help your family back home, but nobody ever look at us and say, hey, become who you want to be. So right through my
Oh.
life, I was just, I know I had to do something, but what that was, I had no idea. And I think
Mm,
just I got lost in that mix. So I often say to
mm,
people, being diagnosed with depression was the best thing that happened to me because I was able to give birth to Nakisha. And with that, by me giving birth to Nakisha, I learned this magic word, say yes to me, right? And,
yeah,
by me learning how to say yes to me, I was able to say no to everyone else. And that
exactly.
includes my family, that's include my employment, that include my children. I had to learn how
To
to
say
put
no.
me first and say no to
Exactly.
everybody else. That was draining me because
Exactly.
all I was doing was just serving. And
Yeah,
I was lost in that process.
exactly. So, I mean, you said that you had to go to a place to find yourself. And I often find that when we get to a space like that, it's because we're somewhat lost. And
Yes.
I think that the process in which you get lost could be that, again, not knowing to say no and
Hmm.
not recognizing your value or your worth, or even just wanting to be able to be accepted, like
Yes.
people pleasing, right? So
Mhm.
when you went on that journey, I think that it took you to another space in your life where you wanted to just leave your job and start your own business.
Oh yes. And,
Yeah.
and with that come down too, because remember, I've never known anyone that written a book or start a business or any entrepreneur in my life. Everybody that I know that surround me work for someone else. But when I was
Mm,
able to got to that space where I'm like, wait, ask myself the relevant question. What is it that I want to do? Who is Nakisha? Right. And recognize that I had so much within me and ask myself questions like, okay, so what do you want the next chapter of your life to be? Like, how do you want to reinvent yourself and tell your own story and just live for you? And that's where, sitting down and ask those questions and just listen to the voice within, like, okay, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Because I know what it is, what I'm doing right now. This is not it. I am not happy living the life that I'm living. So I need to I need to start living for me. And that's where the idea of starting my own business come in. I remember I'm coming from working for an organization that has been around for 25 years, and I love what I do. I've been working with in the people with disability for over 16 years, and
mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to work for work for the organization that I was currently working for because it
Right.
was so
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy, and that
Exactly.
was a contributor or a stressor to my
Mm-hmm.
mental health. So that's when I'm like, okay, so how am I going to do this? Little old me, how am I going to start an organization and compete with these
Mm-hmm.
organizations that's been around for 20, 30, 40, 50 years doing
Exactly.
exactly what I wanted to do? And having these managers and executive director that belittle you and tell you that you're not worthy because you don't have the doctorate and all those acronyms and those alphabet behind
Mm-hmm.
your name,
Yes, I know those
right?
acronyms after your
and,
name.
and yes, and
Yeah.
honestly, the self-doubt does take in. But one of the things that I've learned when I got the vision to start my own business, I seek God and I said, God, what is it that you
Mm.
want me to do? And I
Wow.
got the
Okay.
answer
Okay.
from him that you need to start your own business. So one of the things that helped me to get through it is that I say to myself, if God trusts me with this gift, God trusts me with this vision, he believe in me first. So I have to believe in myself. And even when people are telling me, what, wait, you're gonna quit your job and do what? It sounds
Right.
absurd. It sounds crazy, right? But I remember even a coworker said to me, like, why would you do that? Why don't you just start your business on the side and continue working? And I remember looking at him and say, so that means I believe in this organization more than I believe in myself? Hell no. I'm going to just dive right in. And that's exactly what I did. And I haven't regretted it since, just finding that courage within. But I think we
Right.
have to believe in something or someone greater than ourselves because
Yes.
we already been in that place where we have those self-doubt, those fear, those anxiety, everything, that make us that make us imperfection, right? So we have to
Yeah.
believe in something or someone greater than us and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is in your hand now. You take the steering
Absolutely.
wheel and I'll just drive, right? And I think that's it,
Absolutely.
right?
So in terms of setting boundaries for yourself, did you find that when you were in the workforce that you tend to be afraid that somebody may not like you for something that for saying no? Did you ever feel that was you were afraid of that?
I feel for me because I've always had that leadership kind of spirit or that ability where I would be the one that was stepped in because I work as I say I was coming from a very very toxic environment, and within this environment there was a lot of agency staff because agency staff, quote unquote, a lot of immigrants are usually the agency staff. And some of these immigrants, they come from a background where they're highly educated, but when they're migrated to Canada, they have to settle for these jobs that pay them minimum wage. So I see where a lot of people or a lot of my co-worker will treat them less than because they're just an agency staff and shouldn't you have to listen to me, and it's like they treat, and I've been through that too, where because the color of my skin, I'm not going to lie, I was treated within the same position as if I am dumb or stupid, or it's my responsibility to tell you what to do, even though we're in the same
Mm-hmm.
position, right? So
Right.
just being able to stand up and say, hold up, no, you don't get to treat me like this. You don't get to talk to me like this. We're in the same position, and actually being in that position where I could stand up and advocate for others that don't have a voice or think they don't have a voice. Because especially with our culture, we come from a culture of respect, and you don't talk
Yes.
back to your elder, you don't talk back to your
Yes.
superior, right? So I find a lot of, I'll say, newcomers, when authority is given, even though they feel a certain way, they don't have that voice because they don't really know the system. So I find
Mm-hmm.
myself, I was always that one person to the point where they're always calling me the spokesperson, right?
Oh,
Within,
okay.
yeah.
You
And
became,
even
yeah,
my
an
manager, they're like,
advocate.
oh, so you're going to call your spokesperson now. But I was always that person that speak up, for the one that didn't have a voice.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Have you ever said yes when you want to say no to your
Oh, yes.
family? To your family. Okay.
Oh,
And
yes.
how?
I think a lot of time we say yes to a lot of things that we know was a no. And and it's because we doubt ourselves and we think that we want to be accepted, and we feel like, if I don't say yes, then they won't value me. Or, and a lot of time I think it's within the employment area, right? Because we want to be valid. We want to be their equal. We want to be seen as someone that brings something to the table. But the sad thing is, it doesn't make you more valuable. It doesn't make them see you as someone who's
Hmm.
worthy. And it doesn't make
Exactly.
them accept you any more or any less. You just serve that
Exactly.
means at that moment for them, and then they go right back to their old ways. But I think we
Exactly.
all get caught into that because we were taught we're people pleasers, especially as women, we're people pleasers. And I think at one point, I'm at that point now, and I wish I knew before, where you think you need this job, because you got your bills, you think you need them. And once you get to a place where you're like, wait, no, you're not paying my bills, right? I'm
Hmm.
providing you with a service, and in exchange, you're compensating me with my wage,
Oh, yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And so when I was able to flip it that way, I'm like, no, then you see that courage and that confidence come up where I don't need you. I'm providing you with a service. And with or without you, my bills are going to get paid. So
Amen,
building that
sister.
confidence, it helps you to be bold, right? But
Yes,
when
it
you think
does.
you
It
need them,
does.
then it's like you go in that shell because you depend on them to get your bills paid and to feed your children and run your household. So it's that mindset shift that we got to go
Okay.
through, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when it comes to setting boundaries or even validating yourself or even realizing you're people pleasing, you have to come to from a space of recognizing what your worth is, your value, and what you're willing to give, and even what's comfortable for you.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes we're going throughout our lives accommodating people and
Mm-hmm.
saying yes when you want to say no, and being afraid to say the truth. And it's so prevalent. And I'm going to touch on even relationships.
Yep.
There
That's a
there are
big
times
one.
it's a big one. Oftentimes with
Mm-hmm.
women, especially if you're in a vulnerable state, and maybe that's a low state for you, and you feel that in order for you to get the comfort of a person, whether it's male or female, um, you have no boundaries. You allow the person to do and say whatever, and you don't really know how to say no because you feel that that's taking a chance on them leaving,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So as women and even men, they go through the same. You know, what have you ever felt that way at all with any relationships you've had?
I would say two, like there's two boundaries that I had to create within this new version of Nikisha. Because honestly, I often tell people I gave birth to me at 39. And, and it's a growth process. And one of them was like, say, my husband. My husband is a very outgoing person. And, he likes going out. And I'm more the type of person that like to be home because I work a lot. So whenever I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm at home, I'm at home. And I remember there was
Right.
time where it would, mentally it does affect me that he goes out a lot. But then I had to get to a point where I said to myself, wait, he's doing him. He's making himself happy. Why am I mad? Right? Why am I upset that he's doing what he needs to do to make him happy? So I had to learn that no one could make me happy but me. And I had to find
Mm,
joy and I had to do what it is that I needed to do for me. So then
I
here
love
comes
that.
a trick to that now. Then I start doing me now. There was a problem because they're used to me just being the old version of me.
Oh
And I
yeah,
remember my husband
yeah,
at one point, he said to me, well, this is not the woman that I married. And I said, well, get used to this
yeah.
one because she's long gone. Right. But,
I
it has to be like where you had that point where you have to truly, truly, truly be in a place where you accept who you are and recognize that you're the only one that could bring yourself joy. And that's where I was. Because even when I was quitting my job, I remember going to my husband and said, I'm going to quit my job and start my own business. And he was like, what? You're going to do what? And I remember going to him, I'm not asking for permission. I'm telling you, but that's where I
oh
was at a place where I was confident enough to believe in myself and to believe in my ability. The old Nakisha wouldn't have said that, but the new Nakisha was able to say that. And another
wow,
relationship
yeah.
boundaries that I had to learn the hard way is the young people within our life. I have a lot of young adults, including two young adults, son,
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
nieces and nephews. And I think for me, I'm not sure if anybody could relate where we make excuses for their behavior. And I had to
Mm.
get to a point where no,
Oh, liberty,
there's no
liberty.
excuse here.
There is no
You
excuse. I
there's
just
no
saw a comment. He
excuse.
believes in you too. I don't know. I think she's probably referring to your
Yes.
husband. Yeah.
you know
Thank
and,
you.
and and I had to get to a point where I had to say no, there's no excuse here. I have to train you or teach you how to treat me. And so when they do certain things, I was like, no, 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 you don't get to treat me like that. Right, while the only
Yeah.
Keisha, I would just be quiet, right, for
Yeah.
peace sake. But now like, no, no, you don't get to treat me like that. And
So
now I choose the type of relationship I want to have with you.
you know what? I really like that. And I'm going to touch back on to what you were talking about, even in your relationship. When you saw that your husband was doing more of the going out and you were staying home, but then you realize, hey, you know what? He's happy. Why not make myself happy? I like
Mhm.
that because we could switch that around and say he's selfish, or the husband, the wife. It could be vice versa. The person is selfish and not really thinking about my thoughts and being considerate of my feelings. But I like the fact that you did that, and it made you more empowered, which
Yeah.
definitely brings you to a place of love and knowing what you want and what makes you
Mhm.
happy, and being able to speak on it without without
Yes.
feeling that he would look at you and say, well, I'm just going to reject you then.
And I think what it is too, we have to realize that change is something that is hard. And I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie,
it
I think it was
is.
hard on my husband for a while because the old Nakisha was gone. And he
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
adopt. Like honestly, he had to adopt to who I
yeah,
am.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and now I remember even one time I was on the phone, I was at work and he gave me a call. And I get off the phone and I don't know. It was I get off the phone and I didn't feel good within me. Like the conversation didn't go the way that I want. And I remember just went back and called him and said, "Listen, you don't get to make me feel this. You don't have the right to make me feel this way." And just
yeah,
learning that I could tell you that I don't like the way you make me feel and this is the way I want you to want to feel. And if I do the same, you need to tell me the same. If I say something or and now we have that relationship where if he doesn't feel a certain way, if I make him feel a certain way, he's able to say, hey, I don't like the way that you make me feel, or I didn't like the way you say this, or but it's a new kind of relationship where we have where we're able to express our feelings because we're human and we're going to say things
yeah,
and we're going to do things and we're going to take out a lot of time we take out our how would I say the baggage on those that we love, and how we react to
yeah.
them got nothing to do with them. It got to
No,
do with it,
with us. Yes.
other things. And I do I remember even calling him a couple weeks ago, lashing out at him from something that my older son did. And I had to call back and say, I apologize. It got nothing to do with you. It's this person, but being
Yes.
at that place where you could say, okay, let's have a open communication kind of relationship where even if we hurt each other's feelings or we make each other feel a certain kind of way, we could communicate about it and
Mm,
recognize that it is not intentional, and don't like take it, how would I say, don't like old time people would say, take with a grain of salt, don't take it personal, right?
yeah, yeah.
Recognizing that we do get caught up in our feelings. We do.
Yeah, that's so so true. And also just making sure the person understands that you're not blaming them, you're just letting
Mhm.
them know that this is how I feel. And I think everything just encompasses you setting the boundaries. It's
Mhm.
really just like setting the tone as to how you feel and how you want the relationship to go, and so that they know, right? Because if you
Yeah.
allowed it all the time, then they won't know, and it'll continue. And
Mhm.
next thing you know, you're in a situation where you're
Yeah.
feeling less validated. I
Yeah.
really like that. That's a lot of times that's a struggle for
Yeah.
relationships. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a marriage. It could be
It goes
even
for even
friendship.
with my parents. I choose the type
Yeah.
of relationship I have with my parents as well, right?
Oh, you choose the type.
Oh yes,
Interesting.
oh yes, I have to for my sanity, for my mental health, for my
Yeah, yeah,
I have to choose the type of relationship I have with everyone in my life. How I want
yeah.
to feel. Now I know how I want to feel. And if you're not making me feel the way that I want to feel, then I choose, like, it's one thing to say cut people out. I don't cut people out of my life, right? But I choose how I want to interact with you. I
So
choose,
you're saying if you're not making me feel the way I want to feel, what do
yeah.
you do? You
Okay, so say for
force it.
instance, like I'll say like I love my parents. However, like I'm a street kid. I was on my own at 60. So I don't really have that bond that I should have with my parents. And because of that, there's other things that happens. So like I choose how long I want to talk to them. I choose when I want to visit them. Like everything is on my terms, not on their
Mm,
terms, because like I have to ensure that it's a healthy relationship for me and my family. Same thing with my children. I choose the type of relationship I want to have with them, with my nephews, based on how they treat, based on their personality,
yeah,
based
yeah,
on what
yeah.
they do. Some people it's
So
just, hey, how are you doing? And some people I'll go out with a dinner with you, right? And be in your space. And some people it's just like, hey, hi,
yeah, you've
over
set.
here,
So
know?
you've basically. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm so excited about this, but you've basically set some healthy boundaries.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna read that comment in a second, because even I've I've had people in my life, even family members, that I didn't know how to set boundaries. I didn't know how to tell them, you know what, I don't like, or I don't feel good about when this happens, or in this situation. And I mean, it is so
Mhm.
empowering to be able to set those boundaries and stand firm on it, and you have to let them know. And I mean, this, I mean, oh, I mean, okay, this is just a moment I'm having, but it's, you know, the people pleasing. You know,
Oh
I've
my
talked about
goodness.
this before, and I
It's a
think
toxic thing.
yeah, and I think that's where the boundaries get lost, right? That's where you lose all those the ability to set the healthy
Mhm.
boundaries, because you need them in your space, because then you'll be
Mhm.
stressed out, depressed, all kinds of things, angry, sad, resentful,
Yes.
right? So can we get to Nadejda's comment? I want to hear what she says.
Okay.
Amen. Just had to set boundaries with my siblings for my own mental health and
Yes.
change my relationship with some of them.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
had to do the
Yes.
same with friends.
You have
Thank
to.
you,
With
Nadesh.
everybody,
Yeah,
everyone, everyone. And I have people that I truly, truly love, but honestly, I've seen a lot of people who are like, I'm gonna cut this person out, I'm gonna cut this person out of my life. And I don't believe in cutting people out of
yeah,
your life because you don't know when you need them, what's gonna happen. And I have children and I'm not guaranteed to be here,
right.
right? For the rest of their life. So I want to make sure that whatever relationship I have while I'm here, they're good relationship, healthy relationship, so
Yes,
that if
yes.
tomorrow I might go, I know that my children are okay.
Mm-hmm.
My community will take care of them. So cutting people out of my life is not something that I practice. I see people do it, but it's not my practice.
Right.
However, as I say, I choose if I want to be in your space. Some people, it's only if there's no event, I'm not seeing you, period. Right. But when I
Yes,
see an
yes,
event, we're best of friends. Right. And if I
yes.
don't hear from
I
you in a
get that.
while, sometime there might be a year pass. I'm like, wait, I haven't speak to Maxine in a while. And I'll pick up the phone and I'll have a nice conversation with Maxine and it will go on for hours. And then I won't
Right.
talk to Maxine again for another year. Right.
Yes.
But guess
And that's
what?
happened.
It's still a healthy relationship. However,
Yes.
it's on my terms. And I think one of the things for me was discovering how I want to feel. And there's three feelings that go by. I need to feel free. I'm a bird and I need to fly. And I think when I discovered that freedom was the one thing that I desire, that was the one thing that was helped me to make the decision to quit my job and work for myself because I recognize that I don't like to be controlled. I don't like to be
Mm.
talked down to. I don't like to be told
Or
or
confined. Yeah.
confined or all that. And I think that's
Yeah.
what gave me the courage to to start my own business because that was the only way I was going to get the type of freedom that I desire. Joy was
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I
Oh
learned that
yes.
I need, and I had to learn
Joy.
that joy was from within. Honestly,
Yes.
like all my
Absolutely.
life, I had no idea what joy was. Right?
Oh,
But now I
hello.
know joy is from way, way, way deep, deep, deep
Deep
within.
down.
And
Deep
that's the
down.
one, that's the second thing that I desire. The third thing that I desire is peace. Peace in
Mm-hmm.
everything that I do. And
Absolutely.
if I'm having a conversation or argument and it's going in another way where I'm getting rage or anxious or whatever it is, there's something that I say to myself, and this is it. I said, "E who control my emotion controls me. Why are you controlling
Mm.
me?" And then I walk away. Because then that word control does something for me. It
I
triggers
like
me
that.
because I need
Yes.
to be free. So if you're controlling me, I'm not free. So just because you're controlling my emotion now, I'm like, no, mm-mm. And I stop.
Mm.
And I
Can you
rarely even
repeat
get an
that?
argument. He who controls my emotion controls me. So
Oh,
even my
I
husband,
like
if we
that.
get into an argument, it wouldn't even go anywhere because right away when I see it's going here, I shut down
Yeah.
or I
Yeah.
go for a walk. So it won't
That
go to
is
the
so true.
right?
That
It
is
will
so
never
true.
get to the next level because
Yeah.
the word control triggers something in me. I'm like, he who controls me, control me. Why the heck are you controlling me now?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
It's
my
like
deep
taking back your it's all
power.
about your power, taking back your
Mhm,
power.
mhm.
And if you allow anyone to control your emotions, whether it's like in front of you or even from a distance,
Yep.
if you allow that, you're giving them power.
Oh
And
yes.
it's not a power struggle between the two of you. It's more like you have to have the power within yourself to even
Yes.
control your emotions
Yeah.
and feel good about yourself. So like this is all around based on all the boundaries that we need to set for
Yes. Yes.
ourselves and all
Yeah. Yeah.
it's yeah, like you can control. Yeah, thank you so much, Liberty, for putting that up there. I
Yeah.
love that. Maybe I'm gonna write that down on my vision board
Yeah.
or my board because
Honestly, it was a game changer for me
it
because
is.
I need peace. And it like honestly, when we're talking about setting boundaries for others, we have to know what boundaries look like for ourselves. We
Yes.
have to know how is it that you want to feel. If you don't even know how you want to feel, how are you going to set boundaries? If you
Yeah.
don't know how you want to go about your day, if you don't know the kind of life that you want to live, the
Oh,
type of
that's
person you
right.
want to become, how do you know how to set boundaries? So you got to first
Absolutely.
ask yourself the relevant question and find yourself first. And
Mm-hmm.
then now
Absolutely.
you treat you the way you want others to treat you. And when someone is not
Yes.
treating you the way that
Yeah.
you want to be treated, you can remind it, wait, hold up. I don't treat you like that. So you don't get to treat
Mm,
me like that.
that's
Right?
pretty powerful. That's powerful.
Right. And
Love
I
that.
think that's what
Yeah.
it is. It's but you got to treat yourself those kind of way first. You got to love on you. You got to just just find that confidence, that boldness within, and just
Yes.
like this is how I want to live my life.
Right.
And I remember reading this book called Tuesday with Maury. And it is an amazing book. It's about a book where this man was dying, it's a professor was dying, and he had a Tuesday date with one of his students, and he will give him life lesson. And one of the lesson that he said to his student was, most people never start living until they're dying.
Yep. I've
And
heard that
that
before.
hit me
Yes.
really
Yes.
hard.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
and then he said, you only die once, you live every day.
Hmm.
And it's like, wow, because growing up, you hear, oh, you live once, you grow up with that. You live once, you live once, live your life,
Oh,
you live once.
right.
But then this is like, you die once, you live every day.
Every day. I like that.
Every day you live. And
Yes.
because of that, every day I get up and I'm like, I know the type of day that I want every day, whether I want to lay in bed all day or want to take in the sun all day, whatever it is that I want to do, I plan it way ahead and I live my day the way I want it. Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
with that now you will know if somebody's not aligned with the way you want to live your life or the way you want to spend your day, you walk away from that because this is not the vision that I had for my day. Why are you here? Right? Why are you
Exactly.
disturbing my peace?
No,
It's
you're totally 100% right. And we use the word love a few times, and um, it's clear that all of this stems from the love of oneself
yes.
and making sure that we support that and knowing
Yes.
what our worth and what makes us happy, in a not in a selfish way, but more so that you can actually give love to others when
Oh
you
yeah.
know how to love yourself. So I love that it's surrounded around love, because it's
Mhm.
very important that we start from a space of love. And once you start from that, then you're able to express yourself in a loving
Yes.
way, and the love will come back to you. I
Yes.
know with many times, many women I've spoken to, and when the topic of boundaries come in to play, it's and it's about a relationship. It's a lot to do with maybe having somebody come into your life and saying, let's do this, and let's start this, or whatever it is. And because of the fear of them rejecting them or not accepting
Mhm.
them, or whatever it is, they just say yes. And
Yeah.
so the reason why I want to talk about this was kind of twofold, because I understand that you had to go through a tremendous amount of steps to get to the level of saying to your former employee, I no longer want to come to work feeling distressed
Mhm.
or stressed out. It was very toxic. And you decided, you know what? I love myself enough that I don't want this anymore. So I'm going to make a decision. And the same goes for any relationships where the person is feeling away on a consistent basis, or even just not even having any control over,
Yeah.
then the time will come when the person realizes, okay, you know what? I need to set some healthy boundaries here, because I need to look after myself.
Mhm.
So I just want to share that, because I think that it's such a prevalent topic with many people, men and women go through it, right? Um, I have one more question to ask you.
No.
Um, What tips would you share with the audience on how to say no, just from
Oh
your
wow.
experience?
It's a hard one, you know. It's a
Yes.
hard, that no sometimes is hard. I know for myself because I have chronic pain. I suffer from chronic pain, and I I I I I have to learn to say yes to me and no to even my children, you know, and to the point
Mm,
where I have to say no to them often enough for them to recognize that, wait, she really need me to just let her be right now. And
yeah.
what that means for me is like when I'm in pain, I had to teach my family how to allow me to spend my day the way I need to spend my day. And
Oh,
that include
yeah.
like, you know, like a lot of time, like as a mother, as a wife, there is expectations, a lot of expectations, right? And yeah, those expectations are okay, but when you're not well and you're the only one that's going through what you're going through,
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
the only one
Yeah.
that's feeling what you're feeling, and everybody wants you, me, you got to like, wait, no. I need to take care of me first before I
Yes.
could take care of you. And
Yes.
and even teaching my, you know, my younger one where okay, like now like I'll do things like, okay, do you need anything from me now? Because mommy's going to rest. And then they know like if they need something, they'll come to me and say, Mommy, after you're done rest, could I have? Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's
Very
teaching
important.
them
Yes.
to it's teaching them the way that you want them to respect you and
Right.
allow you to do things your way, because only you
Absolutely.
know how to treat yourself basically, right?
Exactly. Well, they
Because
say you can't pour from an empty
exactly.
cup, so
And,
you need
and I
to.
think we grew up with that idea that a man could make us feel whole, or children could make us feel whole, or the external things could make us feel whole. But the
Yeah.
only person that can make us feel whole is truly you. Only you could
Yeah.
do that, right? And learning
That's
learning when to say no. And it is
very
hard,
much.
but
Very much.
yeah, learning to say no and say, no, I can't do that right now.
Exactly.
I
No,
need a moment, you know. And
absolutely.
even at work, because I work for people with disability, and it's a very hectic job, and we work with a lot of individual with behaviors. And I mean, you could go the whole day just being active. And one of the things that I've learned too is like going to my coworker and say, hey, I need 10 minutes, I need a moment, right? And take those moments. So even
Right.
like, don't be afraid to ask for those moments. Don't be
Exactly.
afraid to express to your family member, hey, I need this for me. I need to do this
Absolutely.
for me. Because if you don't tell them,
Absolutely.
there's no way they will know.
No, they won't.
Just
This
let
is
them
great.
know. And
Yeah.
one other thing I would say, demand it. You
Oh,
need to
yes.
demand it
Demand it.
for
Of
yourself.
course.
You need
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
Demand
Yeah.
it. Demand
Hmm.
it. I need
I
this
agree.
peace. I need this break. I need this time for myself. I
Love it.
need this. And that's
I
it.
love
Don't
it.
take no for an answer. And
Absolutely.
you'll get that resistance. It will happen.
Yes.
But eventually the resistance will stop, and then everybody will
Exactly.
understand why you need what you need. Right. But the
Absolutely.
resistance will come because any change, there's always resistance. Right.
Absolutely.
But you gotta
Well,
push back and say, hey, no, I need this. No, I need
absolutely.
this. I need to take
Awesome.
control of my life. I need to do
Exactly.
what I need to do for me right now. And, you know, it could be something as simple as going to the gym or going for a walk or,
Exactly.
you know, and
Hmm.
not feel guilty about it. Because us women we
Absolutely.
feel guilty all the time for
Exactly.
taking
So,
care of ourselves, right?
exactly. So, Nakisha, I want to just thank you so much for being a guest on my show and talking about this topic. I think that a lot of people may have taken away some real good nuggets from this, and hopefully, if they're going through any boundary issues or anything like that, they can get some feedback from this. And please do like and share this
Yes.
video if you can. And there's your information there for anyone to reach out to you. Um, Definitely follow her, please, on all platforms. And it's is it Nakisha Get? Sorry, can you repeat? Can you tell me
So
what your
my
website is?
website is, well, I have two websites. So one is gettysconcept.com, and the other one is Beyond Services, Choice Matters
That's right.
Inc. And you could follow me on IG. I am Nakisha Geddes, LinkedIn and Facebook as Nakisha Geddes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nakisha, for being a guest on my show. I really appreciate you.
It was
And
a
for the
pleasure.
odd,
Thank you guys for watching.
oh, absolutely. Thank you to the audience for watching, and we hope that we'll see you next week. Have a good night, guys. Stay
Bye.
well. Bye bye.